Good evening. Good evening. There are people out there. I'm Christopher Waugh, and I work at the London Nautical School, and I've never been to one of these, but I thought the best way to learn is to jump right in. So here I am, jumping right in. I'm here to present a solution to something, and I thought before I did, as a teacher, it's really important to me that I don't just start with the solution. I kind of need to identify the problem. So first of all, I'm talking about myself as an English teacher and some of the things that are important to me, some of the things I struggle with, and the ways I'm learning or developing to overcome that. So the first thing for me is I really want to develop agency in my students. It's really important that they can actually have sense that they have control over their learning, themselves, their lives, their relationships with other people. That's as important as anything else to me. Another thing, though, is authenticity, that their experiences are real, that they experience their learning as something that's meaningful to them, and that the outcomes of their learning have some kind of meaning in the world beyond just pleasing me as their teacher. And I wanted them to learn about the power of alliance, the power of being able to connect with other people, form relationships, and from those relationships create better things, learn from others, with others, and pretty much the same stuff as what the class blog has, except it's their personal one. Now, it's a good idea, but how does it work? I want to show you by just focusing on one task and one student. So we've got a workflow. I set a task, and when I'm an English teacher, I need to ask them to write. I want them to write better. They're preparing for a major assessment, so I set this task. Practice an essay. Practice at least a paragraph of an essay, and look at these propositions. So we're doing Katerina from Taming of the Shrew and Sylvia Plath's poetry, and we're looking at the connections between those texts and the representation of women. Here are some propositions to write about. The student chose this one. Women are often punished by society for standing up for themselves. I want you to watch this now. It's all text, but this is what happened. It happened in one night. It happened on the night I was creating this. You can go and check for yourself, because all of this is on the internet, and you can look at it and see what you think, and hopefully you can comment too if you've got something to say. This is Remy, the student's journal. This is his attempt. Now, his first attempt was this. How would you feel if you didn't have a voice? If you wanted to say what you want, but you didn't out of fear of the other sex? He started off with rhetorical devices, and he's meant to be writing an analytical essay. It's not right. It's interesting, and he's passionate that it's not right. So what do? Wait until he's finished the controlled assessment and tell him that, because I don't see him again until after the controlled assessment? Or do I ask him to do it again, and I challenge the part of the work that's not right? This is not his controlled assessment. This is his practice work. It's not exactly the same. So I do intervene, and this is what he ends up with. For many years, women have silenced. They didn't have a voice. But when two women decided enough is enough and let their voices be heard, anger, negativity, and passion was released. This was the case for Sylvia Plath and Catherine from Shakespeare's Taming of the Shrew. They both had hardened hearts because of the way they'd been treated. And goes on. I want that. That's what I wanted. It happened this way, though, because, again, I hadn't seen him between the time that I last saw him and the actual assessment. So this is my comment on his first piece of work. This is working in the right direction, but at the risk of deflating you, I'd like to suggest that you telling him what I think he ought to do, English teacher work. But then he does it, so I can respond to that, which is always exciting for a teacher. So far, this is not new. So far, nothing I've said is new, but what I'm about to show you, I think, is pretty new. This is his response that night. I thought the metaphor was too much at first. I was watching some of CM Punk's shoot promo. You can look it up like I did Jackie O. I was mentioning Jackie O as a relation to Romeo, and we were having a joke. And he was saying stuff about having a voice, speaking his mind, pipe bombs and whatnot. So that helped. Anyway, I like it better than the first. That one seemed like a persuasive speech. This is the student speaking to me about their work before the assessment, not after it. And then I get to say, I'll look it up. Sorry, my popular culture associations aren't as good as yours. And I affirm what he's just said. And then he says, it was getting late. No need to apologise about your point. So now we're talking about Jackie Onassis, and that's okay, because actually the work is done. And essentially what I'm saying here is that what we've done in our department is we've made the blog the work. We've turned the mechanisms of social media into the mechanisms of the classroom. And the interaction that is possible and the fluency that the students have with that interaction is now available to me as a teacher. I'm not doing anything new. I'm just using what works from my end. And if you want to see it, all the students that I teach, all 130 of them, are all on their own blogs. And if you go to that address, you can go and chat to them now. You can go and give them some feedback on their work. There's about 130 of you, so if you choose one each, that's my job done for the night. Thank you very much.